Hi everyone, Don here, your pop culture connoisseur. I want this to be my most chillest video thus far, hence let's have a civil discussion about, wait for it, the struggling artist turned megastar pipeline. Fast fame is a curse.
Oh, okay.
Since the late 2010s, we've seen a multitude of artists reach the pinnacle of their careers in record time, and while a few of those artists are able to maintain their fame, topping their debut cycle and defeating the odds against them, i.e. not succumbing to the curse of fast fame, others weren't as lucky, getting banished to the one-hit wonder's shadow realm, while on the other hand, there is a special class of acts that did not get fame quickly and are just now seeing the fruits of their labor. In this video, I'll be exploring the struggling artist turned megastar pipeline. Artists that are finally getting the recognition they deserve after years of pure commercial flops. I'll also talk about why fast fame is not all sunshine and roses, it might just be a curse, and why being slept on can work in your favor. I am Don, your pop culture boy, let's get into it.
Catastrophic.
Many new popular acts' careers are smeared in illusion. The illusion that they just got here, and this is mainly perceived as truth for many during the moment said act shot to popularity. This concept that an artist is new is in most occasions not true. And while it is true for some acts, example Adele, who after graduating from Brit School, a performing arts school in 2006, got signed 4 months later to XL Recordings, an independent label. And after the passing of 2 years, she released her debut album 19 in 2008, and by 2009 she won Best New Artist at the Grammys. And this is not to discredit Adele or to say she did not put in work, not at all, as she did. She's very talented, and I love me some Adele, but quite frankly, things did fall into her lap, or her career was kind of presented or handed to her, and thank God it did. Because can you imagine music without Adele? Like, who would we listen to when we need a good cry? Thank God for Adele, not sponsored. Catapulting to the mainstream since career inception is also true for acts like Lil Nas X and Ice Spice. Not saying that they did not put in work either. I get it, most of y'all probably have some hate for Ice Spice and Lil Nas X, but they did put in work. It's just that fame found them extremely fast from time they decided to take music serious to them blowing up. Raise of hands if you hate Ice Spice and Lil Nas X. Put your hands down. On the other end of the spectrum, there are other acts who are labeled new artists during their breakthroughs, but aren't new at all. I'm talking about pursuing their music career for up to a decade before popping off in a major way, which is the personification of the quote, "The race is not for the swift, but for those who can endure." Recently, multiple struggling artists have finally broke through their career slumps, turning the tide, striking gold, and emerging as megastars and as fresh faces to the public, despite them grinding and enduring failure after failure, solidifying the iceberg effect, proving that what the general public consider an overnight success was actually years in the making. Doechii is an artist that was and still is kind of being slept on at the moment, in spite of her current breakthrough taking place right now with her intellectual rap, despite this current state of music that is dominated by coochie rap within the female sector. If you were first introduced to Doechii on Katy Perry's 2024's I'm His, He's Mine, or wondering who she was at the past Grammys, after winning Best Rap Album for her third mixtape, Alligator Bites Never Heal, before her surge in popularity, performing at the Grammys, getting shouted by Beyonce, collaborating with SZA and Tyla the Creator. The Tampa native has been trying to pop off for years now. The artist released Girls 7 years ago on SoundCloud, one of her first set of songs that went viral on the platform, with over 200,000 plays. However, her oldest song on SoundCloud was uploaded 9 years ago. Prior Alligator Bites Never Heal, she released 2 mixtapes, Coven Music Session Volume 1 in 2019, and Oh the Places You'll Go in 2020. Doechii also released 2 EPs as well, Braless in 2021, and She/Her/Black Bitch in 2022, developing and honing her chops. Hence, while a lot of us were sleeping on Doechii, arguing on Twitter calling Ice Spice and Lotto flops, and calling Nicki Minaj a crackhead, homegirl was putting in work, preparing for her pivotal moment, her big break, finally signing a deal with Top Dog Entertainment and Capitol Records, releasing multiple singles including features for her growing audience, opening for SZA, Doja Cat, and Beyonce, utilizing association marketing to strengthen brand Doechii.
So I got fired today. Either way, I'm gonna be straight. I think tomorrow, I'm just gonna go to a whole bunch of like studios and like ask if they have any internships open, and also just like ask questions. Like, I don't fucking know. We're just gonna go in studios. What else? Motherfucking record label companies. Like, I'm just gonna go in and ask. Who gives a fuck? Like this, I have nothing to lose. I literally have nothing to lose. I have no place. I have no job. I have no children. Who gives a fuck? Who cares? Who fucking cares? I'm just gonna do it.
What we see now has been more than 10 years of hard work, trial and error, i.e. persistence. Her success did not come by chance, nor is it a coincidence. Please do not call this girl an overnight success. Victoria Monet, the singer-songwriter that gave us hits such as Moment and On My Mama, also a longtime collaborator on Ariana Grande's albums. And that's all of Ariana Grande's studio albums, excluding her last, 2024's Eternal Sunshine. It took Victoria 15 years to finally get her big break, which started with the release of her not first or second or third, but fifth extended play Jaguar, and continued with the release of her 2023 debut studio project, Jaguar 2, before Victoria became someone to watch in R&B, impacting Billboard and winning Best New Artist at the Grammys. She endured long setbacks and career hurdles before making her name in pop culture, proving that Rome, which in this case represents Victoria Monet, was not built in a day. Victoria Monet set out on her journey of becoming a singer in the 2000s. She's been in a short-lived girl group called Purple Rain, who got dropped shortly after being signed by Motown. Victoria then utilized her writing skills in the industry to make a living and to further her connections. Now, writing was cool and all, but Victoria really wanted to be a recording artist. While she sent hooks she wrote to various labels, she also sent in demos in hope that the label would keep her as a featured artist, but that didn't end up happening. Until one day, one of her songs was played in a meeting with Craig Kallman, the current chairman and CEO of Atlantic Records. This led to Victoria being signed and releasing her debut EPs, Nightmare and Lullabies, Act 1 in 2014, and Nightmares and Lullabies Act 2 in 2015, while her third and fourth EPs, Life After Love Part 1 and 2, was released in 2018. Now, I discovered Victoria Monet in 2020 during the start of her breakthrough through tracks Moment and Ass Like That, off her fifth extended play.
With a lie detector determined that was a lie.
Wait, it was actually in 2019 on the track Monopoly with Ariana Grande, but no, it was actually in an interview on Zach Sang, where Victoria was promoting Ari's Thank You Next album with Ariana Grande. I'm sorry, but I have to trail off a bit, but it's interesting that Victoria has been helping Ariana Grande since the start of her debut album, until Ari's Positions album. And now that Victoria has finally found her own footing as an artist and is no longer a Ariana Grande contributor, Ari's last album is kind of basic and just, I don't know, it sounds like a white woman is singing those songs, which I guess is appropriate now, but the album is forgettable. Also, Ari no longer has a black scent that is identical to Victoria Monet's voice. Isn't that a little bit interesting? Ain't it? I've been working on my English accent. I hope you like it.
My name is Chapel Roan. I'm your favorite artist.
Now let's talk about Chapel Roan. Bruh, this girl came out of what seems like nowhere.
Whoa!
And while she fits the overnight success definition to many, that is also not the case. Chapel went from getting dropped by her label during the pandemic, performing to 50 people in 2021, to now performing for over 100,000 motherfuckers at Lollapalooza. In 2024, I discovered Chapel Roan through her song, Casual, released in 2022, and while I was obsessed with that song, playing it constantly, I was completely closed off from anything else Chapel Roan, until she did this at last year's Coachella.
Man, I'm dead.
Chappell Roan had one of the most insane trajectories since the digital age. Take a look at this chart provided by Chartmetric, which shows how her live performances correlated with the crazy increase of her Spotify monthly listeners from September 1st, 2023 to August 14, 2024. As you can see, she dropped her debut album in September 2023. By then, she had probably under 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify. But when she did Tiny Desk in March 2024, her monthly listeners steadily started to rise. And then as you look at the chart, there was a sharp incline after she released Good Luck Babe, leading up to her Coachella performance, where she put me in a chokehold. And then by the summer of 2024, where she did about 4 shows, she then rose to 20 million monthly listeners, and by August, she had 40 million. And the chart also factored in the fact that she was an opener for Olivia Rodrigo's tour from February to April. So touring and live performances really helped her rise, along with the fact that she is incredibly talented right across the board. Since her explosion, she's had multiple entries on the Hot 100, won Best New Artist at this year's Grammys. Furthermore, her Grammy win, coupled with her Grammy performance, caused her track, Pink Pony Club, to spike on the Hot 100, jumping 9 spots in the top 10, and now it's at number 9. And then there was also Sabrina Carpenter, who I already talked about, so I don't really want to talk about again, but I will. Bruh, Sabrina Carpenter was putting out pure flops. She put out like 5 albums or 4 albums that nobody bought, and then finally when she released Emails I Can't Send, things started to pick up for her. And now she's dominating the charts, putting out songs talking about, I'm working late because I'm a singer. Like, what the fuck did that mean? Nobody knows, but she's now Sabrina Carpenter and she's fucking everywhere, winning Grammys and busting it open on stage. The stories of artists I mentioned prior are nothing short of inspiring. They did not give up on their dreams and was persistent in becoming superstars in music. And in today's culture of getting a bag and getting there quickly, this is not glorified. Putting in your 10,000 hours or taking years to achieve something is not praised, especially if whatever you're trying to achieve hasn't come into fruition at a speed that is acceptable by the outside noise. Because of social media, a lot of upcoming artists today are not interested in taking the long way and aren't willing to struggle. They rather fabricate or make up a struggle. They want the fame and all that comes with it right now, but you have to struggle to get what artists such as Doechii and Chappell Roan have achieved. And don't get me wrong, there are artists that did get fame handed to them because of social media clout, but where are those artists today? And also, I'm not saying you should glamorize the struggle, because if you don't have to struggle, there's no need to struggle, so don't run through it. But at the same time, some things you have to struggle for, and if that's the case, go through it.
In peace. If you think I wrote the fame in peace, you have a strong misconception about what I have been through to get to where I am today. The fight, being dropped by record labels, being told I was too strange, being told that the music was too dance. The fight that I have been through is not in peace. And I wrote record after record until finally Just Dance occurred. And then it wasn't in peace. I had to fight for a year, tooth and nail, blood, sweat, and leather every night. No sleep. Bus, club, another club, plane, next place. No sleep, no fear, nobody believed in me. That album was not made in peace. That album was made with the eye of the tiger, and so was this one.
Back in the day when labels run the industry, artists would have to convince a label that they are worth it. They had to have songs lined up, because if you get a hit song, you have to be able to duplicate that. But now, because of social media, we are seeing artists go super viral because of one viral song, but then not being able to replicate it because they weren't prepared, leading to some creating stunts or getting desperate and creating an OnlyFans. So today's artists are not built like artists of the past. Now, let's talk more about how fast fame is a curse, or can be a curse. Remember English singer Cher Lloyd? The artist got her come up off the British X Factor in 2010, where she finished in 4th place. After being a contestant on the X Factor, she released her debut album, Sticks and Stones, the following year to moderate success in the UK. To push her in the US, Want You Back, which is served as the 3rd official single in the UK, was submitted in the US as her debut single. And this song was a hit for Cher Lloyd in the US as well, peaking number 12 on the Hot 100 and was certified double platinum.
When I did first,
First you got me like this. And now you take
After this, Cher Lloyd kind of faded from the spotlight, or on a global scale, after the success of Want You Back. Fast forward to January this year, on the We Need to Talk podcast, the singer reveals she was encouraged to get with Justin Bieber, while in the US to promote her debut album. Apparently, an unknown label exec thought that would suffice as promotion. According to Cher Lloyd, the label did not want to spend money on her album, and this is an unfortunate case of fast fame. A lot of time when artists get recognition or get legitimized off of a competition show, then is thrown into the industry, that artist in most cases isn't taken seriously and might get ignored or worse, tested or preyed upon. There could also be jealousy at play, in this case with Cher Lloyd, where people look at her like, oh, you want your album promoted, huh? After you got fame from a talent show. Fast fame is a curse. With fast fame, we also see many artists having these insane career highs extremely fast, then fall off or they peak at the start of their career, like they experienced everything an artist can achieve in a short span, versus those who gradually got fame. There are a few artists that come to mind. One of those artists is Roddy Ricch. Roddy Ricch came out the gate swinging in 2019 with his single, The Box. The Box went number 1 on the Hot 100, peaked for 11 weeks, and sold over 10 million copies in the United States. People were doing TikToks, everyone was singing it. His debut album was also a success, selling 2 million copies in the US. He also had that song with Mustard, Ballin', which was huge, along with the Grown Man's Rockstar song, which was also insanely popular. But after 2022, Homeboy's career just took a nosedive, and nothing is sticking for him at the moment. And look, nothing is wrong with flopping. It happens. No, I take that back. Something is wrong with flopping, at a label or financial level at least. I don't think it should matter to fans, especially if the music is good. But because he got fame so quick and so fast, there is an expectation for him to keep it up. But seeing he hasn't, he gets called a flop and other poor performing insults by online users. Her is another artist as well who has somewhat peaked in her career, but for her, it's like her peak is rooted in her being hyped up by the industry. Rihanna posting her on her IG, her winning awards, but she hasn't really done anything that matches her hype thus far. And now, no one is talking about her anymore. Then there are artists who have unique cases like Tinashe and Charli XCX. They started out strong, but then kind of dipped commercially, and now they are back up again. Tinashe rose to fame with debut single 2 On featuring Schoolboy Q back in 2014. 2 On became a top 20 hit in the US, thrusting a then 21-year-old Tinashe into the spotlight, and people thought she'd be the next big thing since Beyonce and Rihanna. But unfortunately for Tinashe, 2 On proved to be too commercial or too big for her, as she's yet to top the track. After this, the singer released albums Aquarius, Night Ride, and Joyride in 2014, 2016, and 2018 respectively under RCA, but those albums flopped commercially. Also, Tinashe and her label had creative disputes. After her hit 2 On, only poor performing projects followed, but unfortunately, she was able to revamp her career as an independent artist who isn't bound by sales and online flop conversations. And she did have a resurgence last year with her viral hit Nasty taking over TikTok and people's waistlines. On the track, Tinashe wanted to know if I could match her freak.
That's a 10.
Now, Charli XCX also had an impressive single cycle in 2014 as well. She was already releasing music in the UK prior, but impacted the US music market with Boom Clap, and as a featured artist on Iggy Azalea's Fancy. Both singles impacted the US in a major way. Boom Clap peaked in the top 10, while Fancy topped the Hot 100. Fun fact, did you know that me and Charli are both Leos? So you know what that means. We know absolutely nothing about each other. Charli continued to drop albums over the years. After her US debut, the project she dropped dived into the world of hyperpop and electropop, which was a hit with mainly her core audience and some critics, but not so much with GP, until she decided to drop her 2024 iconic Green album, which spawned global singles Von Dutch and 360, putting Baby Girl back on the map. Now let's talk about artists that got clout from the internet, but need to put in more work. These artists, while they have fame and hype where you'd think they'd be major already, it hasn't really happened for them, or they haven't experienced their big break as yet. Or have they? Their fame is mainly rooted in the internet, which isn't enough for them to pop off in a major way, a superstar way. And I believe these artists have a lot more work to do. Normani. Should I say more? The next person is Addison Rae, whose rebrand I love. She just needs to continue diving into what she's doing right now, in my opinion, and she needs to put out a body of work to help her rise to the next level. I think she can be the next Lana Del Rey, not in a copy way or a replacement way, but in terms of alternative, can't put in a box artist for this generation. Next is Benson Boone. He had a great 2024 with his #2 single, Beautiful Things. His pop rock sound is fresh, but we need more bangers from him. He can perform, but I fear a lot of people that love music today and love to know who their faves are don't know who he is. Central C. I'm sure the UK loves Central C, but although he has a strong brand, the music is just not it. And I fear he's gonna be grouped with a lot of past UK rappers that try to expand overseas, but ultimately, you can't take them nowhere. And last but not least, Tyla. Now this is my opinion, but I think Tyla has a little more work to do, particularly in the US market, because she's doing fine in South Africa. But in the US, her music is not connecting as I believe it should. Outside of Shaking Water Down Your Ass, Water, people aren't really gravitating to her other singles, i.e. Push to Start. I think this is because of her identity clash. I think it turned a lot of people off. Plus, some people find her off-putting for some reason. I don't know why. Tyla has a lot of damage control to do in order to reel in a stronger audience in the US. That's why her songs After Water are not performing as they should. I'm sorry, but she needs to start appealing to more Americans and get with the program. Both Tyla and her team need to change something because her music is top tier and it's like a waste at this point. Her appeal meter needs to rise. Push to start. Like, bruh, that's my fucking jam, okay? That's my jam. Release Tyla. Justice for Tyla. Now. Release my nigga. I see a lot of people complain about their favorite artists being slept on all the time. Hey, even I do it sometimes. But I think we miss the point and overstep the process when we do this. Certain milestones, achievements, whether awards, if you care about that sort of stuff, or turning into a megastar takes time. And the period of being slept on is a crucial time for development for an artist, because as soon as they become a main player in music, the same ones that cry for their faves to be more famous will be the same ones to turn their tails, calling them flops and has-beens as soon as their fave does something they do not like, proving that fame is fickle. I asked y'all in the community section to guess the topic of this video for a chance to be featured, and some of y'all got it. For those who didn't, good luck next time. I love you all so much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I am Donnie Pop Culture Boy, and I will see you in the next one.